Do you know someone, or you are someone, who seems to have everything under control, but is constantly pushing yourself to not make mistakes? Someone who prepares for every step, every project, every detail, but it still suffers when receives criticism. Someone who loves being seen as a strong, reliable, capable, yet feels that needs to prove their worth over and over again. Maybe you try to control situation or strive to be impeccable just so you don't lose the place next to the people you love. If this feels familiar, you are about to understand why. This is the rigid character trait. And as you know, the body explains the mind. Today, we are going to explore how this structure works and how it was shaped. If you are new, go back and watch the videos of this series. There you're going to understand how the first 5 years of your life shaped not only your personality, but your entire world and the way you see the world and relate to others. My name is Claudia Jimenez Fischer. I'm a character structure analyst, and my mission is to help a woman to reconnect with their true essence, integrating body and mind to awaken authenticity. You know those people that seem to have a natural, harmonious body structure, that balanced shape, that attractive presence that draws attention without even trying. It's not about beauty, it's about proportions, confidence, and a sharp sexual energy that makes people turn their heads when they walk in. The rigid character structure begins forming between 3.5 and 5 years old, when the child goes through another stage of myelinization and starts feeling more sensitivity in the genital areas. It's the moment they begin to discover their own body and also start to notice that people around them comes and pass. Mom with dad, uncle with auntie, and suddenly the child wants to belong to a pair too. This is where the existential wound of the rigid trait is born. The pain of not being chosen, the pain of feeling replaced, left out, and excluded. For the child, it's confusing because adults say things like, you are the most important thing in my life, my little prince, my little princess. But then we get busy, work, cooking, the other kids, the partner, daily life. The child doesn't understand this division of attention. They only feel, if I'm loved, so why do they leave me? Did I disappoint them? Was I replaced? And so the rigid child creates a strategy. Be perfect, be desirable, be the one who is always chosen. They try to figure out what they need to do so they never feel excluded again. They compete and they try to stay in control because deep inside they want one thing, to be chosen. The rigid structure carries a lot of energy in the chest and in the genital area. The body and the mind develops around the need of meet expectations, to be the best, to be the smartest, and the most impressive. The rigid people evaluate the world through choices and options. The fewer options others have, the safer they feel. They want to be seen, noticed, and chosen. Even their sexuality can appear strongly and sometimes unintentionally in the way they move, their posture, or even the way they express themselves. An important reminder here is that no one is made of one character structure. We are all a mixture of traits. though some shows up more strongly than others. Rigid people are highly competitive. The whole body prepares itself to compete, perform, and to win. They are proactive, driven, and always aiming to do things better than before. They like attention, they enjoy being appreciated and admired. They're full of drive, ready to jump in and make things happen. In their resource, the focus is entirely on results. They know how to find solutions, and they use their strengths and agility and consistency to achieve what they want. Their competitiveness becomes something positive, pushing them to improve, to learn more, and to reach higher levels of excellency. One of the biggest challenges is normally choosing. But in the resource, the rigid person can clearly decide which part of the triangle they want to stand in. They compare themselves only with their own progress, not with others. And the resource, the focus is entirely on results. You can expect from this trait strength, agility, consistency, determination that goes all the way to the end. Competitiveness, used positively and naturally inner shine, commitment, irresponsibility, they execute and plan quickly. The person image that reflects the power of execution, of producing, delivering, and acting with intensity and purpose. However, do not expect from this trait exclusive focus. The mind are always balancing two sides. Don't expect vulnerability. Opening up feels like losing an advantage. Don't pressure them to make fast decisions. They naturally weigh both options. When the rigid are in the wound of this trait, their divided attention grows stronger and everything changes. They become extremely demanding with themselves and with others. They don't even know who they are competing with. They just feel they must stay on top so they won't be replaced, being excluded, of losing the place in someone else's life. They don't want to make mistakes, not because of the perfection itself, but mistakes feel like risks, feel like being taken out of the game. They over-prepare, they stay alert, always trying to guarantee that they won't lose their position. Every time a rigid person feels that they are in second place or overlooked instead of chosen, every time they sense they are not a priority, they suffer deeply. Because the rigid trait, being chosen means being safe. Being excluded feels losing their worth. So they push and over-prepare. And in this state, they struggle. They feel divided, as if a part of them are somewhere else. Always worried they're gonna lose. Always afraid that they won't be enough to be chosen. Now, let's talk about the body structure. When you look at the rigid character structure from a purely harmonic perspective, something becomes very clear. Unlike the other character traits where the body shows imbalance or disharmony, the rigid body seems like perfectly aligned. There is a natural flow, as if everything is in the right place, without well-defined curve and a strong sense of symmetry. The rigid facial symmetry have high symmetry balance, sharp and well-defined, especially on the jaw lines. The cheekbones are also well sculpted, giving a natural expression of confidence and admiration. The eyes are different from the oral trait. The oral trait looks like they are asking something. The rigid looks like they are attracting something. There is an intensity, a sexuality, and a magnetic way they look at us. The lips are well-shaped, full and proportional, with clear contours, aligned, symmetric, and natural harmonious balance. The toes usually have a visible, defined curvature, almost like a guitar shape, sculpture muscles, and upright posture. Some people might argue that comes from exercise, but the truth is, if you put a masochist and a rigid in the same exercise routine and diet, the body still develops differently. The rigid body naturally enhances the curves and the harmony that are already there. In the hip region, we often see firm, round glutes, well-structured and full of energy. The legs are also harmonious and toned and strong, ready for action, with visible muscle line and a sense of agility and readiness. What drains the straight is being put in the second place, stay in the background unseen, and having to choose only one option. Putting all their energy into one single path, receiving criticism. They interpreted it as I'm not good enough, I can be replaced at any moment. Rigid people actually likes feedback, but only the kind that helps them measure their progress. Without it, they raise their level of self-demand to something almost impossible. This natural executor was built for speed, so it's not surprised that their action is the fast response. For the rigid character, action comes first. Only after that comes thinking and feeling. The internal order of response gives far more weight to do, even when a dilemma is happening in the background. They reach seeks perfection because being the best at what they do gives them a sense of respect and care and belonging. They want to maintain the place of preference. They spot as a priority. The need to control is often misunderstood. Unlike the psychopath trait, which seeks control to dominate people in situations, the rigid control for one reason, to guarantee that things will turn out the way they envision. They want rest until everything is done how they believe it should be. They need environments where they feel valued, stimulated, and allowed to shine. They need to feel seen. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone that might need to hear it. And I would love for you to join our WhatsApp community, where we are building a community of authenticity, strength, and peace. Thanks for being here, and see you in the next video.